What's going on, first grade? Mr. Hunter here. I have a new book that we're going to be starting today called Community Helpers. We're going to go through it pretty quickly, but I'm going to give you some tips on how you can notice and pay attention to some things that we're going to talk about this today. Pages 1 through 5, we'll be reviewing table of contents, city, suburb, a town, a country, different things that we should know about. We're going to find out more about today. Take a look at the book. Do you notice any particular jobs that these kids are representing here? What type of jobs do we see? I see fireman, yeah. It's like a doctor, right? He works in a hospital. A police officer. It's like a preacher or a lawyer. And then that young lady at the end, that's like a nurse. She works in a hospital too. Pretty cool, right? All right, we're going to open up our books to inside. So turn it over to the. All right, guys, you on the inside? All right, so it should look something like that. I have a teacher edition, so I'm just going to go through with you guys, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. All right, so our community map, this is what we call community map. It's a flat picture of a real place. So this isn't real, but it's showing you what a real place looks like. All right. It shows streets, shows buildings, houses, the park, it shows churches, schools, and a whole lot of other things. Our community map shows us the 4 directions as well that help us learn more about our world. These directions, anybody know? These directions are north, south, east, and west. Right. You guys are good. All right. North is up, because the North Pole is at the top of the world. Everybody point up, point up. All right. And although the map that's in your book just shows a little bit of the world, we can still say that north is upwards toward the top of the map. You know, can you point on your map where up is? Anybody? You want to point? Okay, you see. All right. So we got that. Now, I want to see, find the park. All right. Can you find the park and put another finger on it? All right, if you move north from the park, what will you see? So you have your finger on the park, right? Where's the park? Oh, I see the park. Okay, now if you move north from the park, where are you going? You're going to see a school. All right, everybody see the school? There's another direction that's as well that you're going to go through. It's called south. Anybody know what south is? South is the opposite of north. Everybody say south is the opposite of north. So south, if north is going up, south is going down. It's the opposite, all right? South is down at the bottom of this map because the South Pole is at the bottom of our world, all right? Now, can you point to the word south on your map here? Is it at the bottom of the page? Okay. If you're at the bottom of the page, what else will you see? Do you know? All right, I'll ask you something. I'll ask you something else. Find the church. Anybody find the church? It's Monday, so we just went to church yesterday. Find the church on your map. If you travel south from the church, what will you see? You'll see houses, right? You'll see houses, right? We can know the direction east because where we live, the sun comes up in the east. We live on the West Coast, but the sun rises in the east. So the east gets the sunrise first. That's why, and I'll talk about this later, the East Coast is 3 hours ahead of us. It's only a certain time right now in Los Angeles, but whatever time it is, it's 3 hours later and or 3 hours earlier in the East Coast. All right. So we can know where we live because of the sun. The sun rises in the east. And on our map, the east is on the right side of the page. Now, I have another question. We're going through the map. We're trying to find places. If you find the school and travel east, find the school. All right. See where the school is? Travel east. What will you see? Anybody see? You'll see an apartment and a house, right? West. Everybody say west. All right. West is the opposite of east. We can know the direction west where we live because the west is where the sun goes down at night. So we don't get to see the sun rise. But if you live near the beach or you go on the west side of LA, you'll be able to see the sun set. It's beautiful. It's so amazing. All right. Now, can you find the word west on the map? What side of the map is it on? Is it on the right side or the left side? It's on the left side, all right? So what is west of the church? And to find out, first we have to find the church, and then we go west, all right? So you have to find the church, then you go west, and west is left, all right? Now, when you go left, when you go west, what do you see there? You should see a school playground. Anybody see the school playground? Yeah, you see the school playground? All right. So as you keep going westward, and I'm just going along on my map, you see there's a barber shop, there's a dentist's office, there's a pet store, Luigi's restaurant. Wow, I'm getting hungry. All right. We should probably stop in there and see. Oh, we can't forget about, we see the police station as well. All right. So there's a lot of things that we see here. All right. Now let's look over here at our next page. All right. You see the stop lines, you see stoplights, fire hydrants on the map. Why are all these things needed on the map? Because the map represents what we see in the real world. Why do you need a stop sign? Why do you need a fire hydrant? Why do you need a traffic light, a stoplight? Oh, they help people from getting in car accidents, right? What do you think, Jeremiah? Am I right? They stop people from getting in car accidents. They protect people that are walking on the sidewalk, Sam, right? You don't want people just walking out without a stop sign. What about anybody driving too fast, right? You maybe put a stop sign there to get them to slow down, Eliana, right? And Dylan, we need all of these things for cars. You guys may not drive, Mr. Hunter drives. And if we didn't have a stop sign, have a car or a stoplight, we'd be in trouble. There'd probably be a lot of accidents, right? That wouldn't be good. All right. So let's look. Let's practice some of these skills we just learned about west, east, south, and north. All right. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to locate it. What building is west of the hospital? So if I say that, you first have to find the hospital and then go west. So what building is west of the hospital? All right. Find the hospital, and then you're going to go west. Everybody find it? The building that is west of the hospital is the post office. Did everybody find that? All right, that's the post office. That's where you go to make mail your letters and send stuff off in the mail. All right. Now, next one. What building is east of the gas station? East. So which direction are we going when we go east? We're going to the right. Okay, you got it. And what building do we see? City Hall. Yeah, City Hall. They have a lot of City Hall. And Mr. Hunter, I live near downtown LA. So City Hall in downtown Los Angeles is about probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes from my house. So I can drive there. It's pretty cool. Big skyscrapers. All right. Next one. What playground equipment at the school is east of the flagpole? All right. Oh, so we're going east again. What playground equipment of this school is east of the flagpole? I'll give you a hint. You kind of go like this. Swings. Yes, swings. All right, you got it. Okay, I'll do another one. Which is closest to the city highway? The Food Mart, the Firehouse, or City Hall? All right, the Food Mart, the Firehouse, or the City Hall? What do you see? Do you see it? No? You may not see it because Mr. Hunter, I think, was giving you the wrong information. But it's all right. Don't forget about me. All right, just turn the page, turn the page. We're going to skip that for now. You guys did a good job, but if you were confused, I apologize. I might have been giving you the wrong lesson. My lessons are back to back, and I was reading it. I may have messed up, but you guys did good anyway. All right, let's look at the table of contents on page 1. Everybody say table of contents, all right? The table of contents, this helps us to find out what the entire book is about. So you can look right here. Even if I don't tell you what we're doing for that day, you can look and say, oh, when we get to page 43, we're going to talk about servers. Oh, on page 32, we're talking about the dentist. This helps you to be able to know what we're talking about in the book. Now, can we name all the different people that we're going to talk about? It says my pastor, firefighters, police officers, my teacher, my doctor, nurses, my dentist, farmers, bakers, servers, the mayor, and last but not least, postal employees, all right? Community helpers make goods or provide services. So these people are people that provide services or they make goods for us. So you may have somebody in your family that is a community helper. We're going to find out more about that. All right, let's get ready to turn the page. All right, so guys, we talked about community helpers. Maybe you're talking about your parents or what some of them do, but ask your parents what type of jobs they do. Are they community helpers? Are they people that help out in the community? Are they doing things? A farmer, they make baked goods. They grow plants, or I'm sorry, they make the plants and they grow everything on their farms, and then they give it to the baker who bakes the food and sells it to us so we can eat. So those two community helpers help everyone in the world. Maybe your mom or dad is a police officer. Maybe they're a firefighter. Maybe they work and they do whatever they do. Maybe they're helping somebody, but you want to find out what they are. But first, we're going to talk about where these people live. All right, we're talking about community. Everybody say my, point to yourself, my community. All right. Now it says, my family and I live in a community. A community is a place where people live, work, and play. Community helpers are people who help their community in special ways. There are many kinds of communities that people live in. All right. So the largest type of community is a city. Everybody say city. We, everybody raise your hand, say we live in a city. Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States. So we live in a big city. We live in a huge city. All right. They have a lot of people, large buildings, skyscrapers, office buildings, apartments, transportation. Does that sound like LA? Does that sound like where we live? Yeah, it does. All right. So that is something that's pretty big. Now, many people can live in a city because the buildings are close together, right? Some cities have very tall buildings or skyscrapers. Some of these skyscrapers may be office buildings. So maybe your father, your mom works in an office building that's a skyscraper, right? Some of the skyscrapers may have apartments where people live in. And in a large city, buses and trains help a lot of people travel back and forth to work. Does that sound like where we live in LA? Yeah, I think so. All right. The next type of city or next type of community is called a suburb. Everybody say suburb. All right. A suburb is a smaller community, but it surrounds the big city. Families and homes with yards. People may work in the city or a suburb. So suburb is close to the city, but it's not in the actual city where it's so big. Another kind of community, what they do is they have people, they live in single family houses. So it's more for families. If you live in the city, you can still have a family, but the suburbs, a lot of families go out there because they have more space for dogs in the yard, kids to play outside. They may drive their own cars back and forth to the city if you live in the suburb. All right. And then you may work in the suburb. There's even jobs in the suburbs as well. So we have what? We have the city, we have the suburbs. So we have two. Mr. Hunter, I lived in both. When I was in Washington, D.C., I was born in Washington, D.C. I lived in the city. But then when I went to middle school and high school, I lived in the suburbs. My dad still worked in the city, but he wanted us to have more room for the house. So I lived in the suburbs in Virginia and Maryland. I lived in Maryland and Virginia. And I was about 20 minutes from going into downtown DC. All right. So it was pretty cool. So I lived in the city and I lived in the suburbs. All right. The next one we're going to talk about is a town. Everybody say a town. A town is a smaller type of community. All right. Fewer people live there. All right. There's not a lot of people to do. Some towns are near large cities, but usually towns are surrounded by farms and forests. All right. So it's not as many people there. And then the last one, country. Everybody say country. Ooh, who knows about the country? You guys know about the country? You're too little to know about the country. You don't know about the country. Okay, okay, all right, I agree. Some of you may know about it. Often in a country, there's a lot of open land. So that means there's a lot of room, horses, maybe farmland. There's places out there in the country that are called a rural. Everybody say rural, rural, all right? It's rural, rural. In the country, the land may stretch as far as open as you can see, all right? There may be swamps, lakes, forests, or farms or ranches. And people who live in these areas, they may have to drive several minutes just to get to a neighbor's house. So not even to get to a store, just to get to their neighbor's house, they may have to drive minutes, all right? In all of these communities, people depend upon each other in many, many, many ways, all right? Now, I have a question. I want you guys to look at these pictures. You're looking on page 2 and 3. And do you see something that looks like where you live? Especially on page 3. You see the city that looks like where we live in downtown LA. But what do you see? You see the suburb that's close by, you see the town. Do you live on the country? Do you live in the country, the town, the suburb? Looking at all these, which one do you live in? Yes, some of you may live in the city. We all live in the city. But some of you, even in LA, some of you may live in a suburb of LA. So you live in a place that's pretty busy, but it's not downtown LA where there's skyscrapers and everything around like where Mr. Hunter lives. So you may live in a suburb area of Los Angeles, but we all pretty much live in a big, big, big area, very busy, lots of people, lots of traffic. All right, so we're going to dive deeper a little bit, all right? All right, so we're diving deeper, and I want you to look at page 4 and 5, all right? So there's jobs for other people like children. Wait a minute. You say, Mr. Hunter, I'm in first grade. What is my job? I don't work, I don't drive, I don't do anything. Well, you know what children's jobs are in the special community? Their job, right here from the Bible, it says, children have important jobs in their community. The job of a child is to obey their parents and be helpers at home. Wait a minute. Are you guys helping out at home? Are you obeying your parents? then guess what? You are doing your job. Everybody give themselves a pat on the back. All right, you're doing your job. And then by sharing the jobs, the work can be done more easily. So when you help your parents, it helps them get done with work faster. They're more happy. They're better off because they're having help all around the house. You guys aren't just sitting there, you're helping out. All right. So what are jobs that are things that your parents do? Which jobs are things that your parents do? Do you know what your parent does? Find out what are the type of jobs they do. And then which jobs can you help your parents do? So you may not be able to go to work with them and help them be a police officer or help them type on the computer to do all their work. But maybe there's something around the house that you can do, right? You can help them out around the house. You can help them clean. You can help them do things. Those are jobs that you can help. So what you're going to do is you're going to look on page 4 and 5, all right? You can look at the shapes and the pictures that show things that you can be helpful at home, all right? Now, in your books, I'm not sure if it's already colored, but I want you to look at that, and I want you to take a piece of paper, and I want you to write down what you can do. So if you see the picture there, what can you do? There's a picture with toys all over the ground. There's a picture with a laundry basket. There's a picture with the supper on there. There's a picture with that says wash the dishes. What are jobs that you can help your parents do? Think about that. And then here's the last thing. It's in the Bible. This is a Bible verse. It comes from Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 10. It says, doing each job to the best of your ability. Here we go. Whatsoever thy hand doeth, let me start over, sorry. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. All right, so what that means, guys, whatever you do, do not do it without all that you can, okay? When you go outside and you're playing, you play with all your might. You don't play halfway, you play all the way. When you're doing your work in school, don't just give half the effort, give all the effort. So when you're helping out and your parents ask you to clean up, don't just pick up the toys and say, okay, I'll put it away. Okay, I'll do this. No, you have to do it with the same energy like you're helping out doing something that you want to do. So you help out with all the energy you do, or you have, because the Bible says, Ecclesiastes 9 and 10, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. All right. I know that was a lot of information. I know that was a lot. We talked about the communities. We talked about the cover of the book. We talked about community helpers, talked about ways that you can help out your parents. But I want you guys to take a look at these pictures and really see what it is that you can help your parents do. And then maybe this week, why don't you do something with it? All right. Help them fold the clothes, help them pick up the toys, help them wash the dishes, help them cook supper. All right. I love you guys. We're going to talk more about this, and we're going to provide even more clarity and information as we move forward. All right. Talk to you soon.